back to Flux TV. We are here to kick off the 5th season of Flux Motorsport Championship competition. I am your host tonight, Carlin Hicks, and we are live at the Zolder circuit in Belgium for tonight's opener, round 1 of 2021 season 3 of the Flux Formula Renault Championship here at Zolder. As I said before, I'm your host here tonight, Carlin Hicks. And we are gearing up for what should be a fantastic broadcast. Watching the tail end of the practice. We are just about to get qualifying opened up here at Zolder. Is FLX Ralph, better known as Mia, one of our top European drivers here in Flux. Currently topping the wet session here. We are looking to see rain in the area here for the opening round at Zolder. Once we get qualifying going, going to talk a little about all of the races on the docket and the championships this season in the 5th season of Flux Motorsport Championship competition. My partner in the booth is 1-year-old Elena. You will hear her in the background making her nonsensical comments. I believe she probably makes about as much sense as any of us while we are broadcasting. So bear with me while I have her in the background. But as we said, broadcast, qualifying, wrapping up here. Going to run down the driver list here when we get in qualifying, give you a little Formula Renault preview, a little bit of the history, and as I said, talk about all of the championships that are going to be opening up here tonight. We'll spend qualifying on that, sort of a season preview, and then we will get, following the 25-minute qualifying session, of course, a 45-minute championship feature event. Gonna get my notes and stuff in order here for just a minute. All right, that's the end of the practice session. Not a whole lot of people putting in times, most of them deciding to keep their cars in one piece in the garage. These are, of course, a Formula Support Series in open wheel. Formula Renault 3.5 liter engine, identical engines and chassis for these cars. So these guys, in essence, guys and gals, would in essence be racing head to head. Really going to come down to the driver and their affinity for the track. As Elena in the background, you can hear, definitely agrees with that assessment for some reason. She believes that her broadcast partner and daddy is smart for some reason. All right, going to get these guys out here. Let me get myself retired and spectated. We're going to open up here on the, technically the reigning champion here. This is the, as I mentioned earlier, season 5 of Flux competition. It is a return for Formula Renault to the weekday slate. Flux Support Championships. Formula Renault was run back in the first season of Flux Motorsport back in 2020, and the title was won by the very accomplished Bruce Law that you see there. He took 5 wins in 8 races on his way to that championship, and it has now not been contested over the past 3 seasons, but making its return here in 2021 season 3. Bruce Law, quite the resume in Flux Motorsport. Been doing some of my homework for the upcoming season in the Flux Sports Car Championships, which would include all of the sports car classes, GT1, GT3s, LMP2s, GTEs, and the like. Bruce Law is a 4-time class champion, winning titles in GT1, LMP2, and in GT3. Overall, he has 27 sports car victories in Flux Motorsport, in addition to those 5 Formula Renault wins I mentioned. as well. So very accomplished driver, but looking to pick up his second championship and that sixth win here today in the Formula Renault Championship. Very popular, very excellent series. I think it's a great feeder up the Formula ladder towards Indy cars and Formula One, which we are really hoping to develop soon here in Flux Motorsport. And Bruce Law has to be considered the odds-on favorite here coming into this season. But we've got a number of drivers out there with that possibility. Looking at Starling Bongo in the D-Box car. Starling Bongo, another driver with plenty of success in the Flux sports cars. But particularly affinity for touring cars. He has a win over there in the Touring Car Championship, which will open up tomorrow. But let's take a look at a season preview here of what we're going to see here in Formula Renault. You definitely, with the weather in the state that it's in coming in, definitely going to be a factor. We take a look at the overall championship. Opens up here at Zolder this weekend. We'll be in Hockenheim, Germany next week for round 2, and then it's a hop over to the UK at the Donington Grand Prix circuit. Round 4 sees us head to Portugal for Algarve, and then round 5 will be back in my domain over in the American side. They'll be racing at Watkins Glen Grand Prix. That is the same weekend that the American Tour will be there, so we've got a super week at Watkins Glen in week 5. It's then hop across the Pacific for the final few rounds. Sakito, Japan / Suzuka round 6, Zhuhai, China in round 7, and it will close out at Dubai in the United Arab Emirates in round 8. As I mentioned before, we'll give you a little look here. Also, the Touring Car Championship opens up tomorrow. That'll be on the Indy circuit at Brands Hatch. They've got a fantastic 8-round championship in the very popular Flux Touring Car Championship this season. And the American Tour races Friday and Saturday will be at Daytona Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UK. We'll have the IndyCar opener on the high-speed banks of the Daytona International Speedway Oval. And then Saturday night, the Flux American Sports Car Championship kicks off with the twin races, the GTEs at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight UK. And then at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 a.m. UK will be the LMP2 race. So we're looking forward to all that. But tonight's business will be the Formula Renault Championship here in the opener at Zolder. Checking in from Joey here. He is the broadcast partner with us on the American Tour, saying good luck to all the drivers. Be sure to tune in Friday night for the IndyCar opener. We'll also hope you to tune in tomorrow night in the UK, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern time, as I said, for the Touring Car Championship at Brands Hatch. So Flux Motorsport is kicking off strong. Thus far early in the session, Bruce Law has put up the fastest lap time, and there can be a lack of drama in a wet qualifying session because as more rain gets down on the surface, you may see the fastest times get locked in, and most of these guys past about halfway may just be practicing the car for the Zolder circuit, which I need to do my notes on. As I said, American Tour driver and American broadcaster, I'm not super familiar with the track, so let me take a look here at the track layout. for this race, as it looks like Mia has gone back out in front in the D'Amberville car, 121.186. The sun is out with the light rain. Not a hot track, as you can see, 58-degree ambient, just 67 on the track, but supposed to dry up before we get to the race session. So, and then we should see rain once again. So it's definitely going to be a factor here. As Mia heads down the front stretch. To not confuse the viewers, I'll refer to this car as FLX from here on out. Get into the cockpit here. Got my map. Maps are always reversed when I put them on here. I need one that actually matches the one on the screen. Work my way through to it. Circuit Zolder, 2.492 miles, basically a 2.5 mile track. I can say personally, as a driver, in the few times I've competed at this particular track, it reminds me a bit of Imola. Has the same type of high speed straightaways, turns, and then those hairpins that can definitely bite you. Luna Zodiac right now holding third in the session. Let's see if the times do come down. Maybe the track gets a little better. The sun being out. You can see the rain still falling though, so I just think it's going to stay that way. Bonus point for the pole would be a big deal here to kickstart the season. Let's get on board here with Luna Zodiac as he brings us around for a lap here at Zolder. Hopefully he will actually give us a good rundown. Coming down to Erste Links. Hard, fast left-hander, usually 4th, 5th gear for most guys. The turn 2 and through 3. Coming a little bit wide out of turn 4 there. Now it's the hard straightaway. DRS if you're comfortable with the car, down to the Klein chicane. This is a very hard, usually 2nd, 3rd, even 2nd gear for some guys. And now it's through the kink. Turn 6 is technically this kink down to the Villeneuve chicane. Hard down to 2nd, even 3rd gear for some guys, 2nd even for others. Perleman Blanc here through 8. All the way down through the hard right-hander into 9. Need to watch that car back end kicking out at you, and then it's hard straight up to the Jackie X chicane. Turn 11, and there's 11 turns leading you on to the front stretch at Zolder. Got a viewer checking in, Mr. Goat. Hi, just Piddlin's also in. We are going to encourage all of you to go to fluxmotorsport.com. Ooh, as we see Luna losing it there at the end of the lap. Go to fluxmotorsport.com, sign up through our Discord, and get involved with one of the top console racing championship that you are going to find. Meanwhile, as the 5th season of Flux competition kicks off here at Formula Renault, let's get back to the track. CDN Trooper right there currently holding station in 5th. He is a former champion in the American Sports Car Championship in the GTE class, who has really done most of his driving here across the pond. Bases himself in Europe now on the European Tour, and he will be competing, I believe, in a touring car tomorrow as well. This is a guy known for his consistency. He won that GTE championship over on the American Tour. Didn't win until the final race, but that final race win put him over the top and took to the championship. Little guy checking in, saying good luck to all. The wet can be a factor. Got 9 cars in the field as of right now. Looking for a possible late appearance of a 10th. But nonetheless, it's going to be the drivers against the track. I think the biggest thing that you can do in a race like this, I know my open wheel experience being in Indy cars, is tough track, weather conditions that are going to come in to play, at some point. You just have to drive the track. Now, I believe the track will be dry, maybe slightly wet when we start. We'll have to see what the weather forecast gives us, but either way, you got to strategize for that. These tires are going to go quick. You're going to be seeing guys make pit stops, hoping to avoid damaging the car. That's the biggest thing. Some of those hops right there alone can do damage to your suspension, and that might be why Stoltz pulled it in that particular case. As I said, the only active winner here from the inaugural Flux season and the running of the Formula Renault Championship, Bruce Law, who took 5 races that season. I think he's a definite top contender. Snarling Bongo here, though, very accomplished touring car and sports car driver. I think he'll be is a contender. Obviously, up there at the top of the chart, Mia and the FLX will be a title contender. But we've seen it in all Flux championships over the 4 seasons of competition. It's an 8-round season. You've got to keep the car underneath you. It doesn't matter if you're the fastest guy. If you're only finishing cleanly 3 or 4 times in the 8, you're not going to pile up the points needed to win. We saw it happen last season in the Indy cars. Taijo from over in the Philippines took the IndyCar championship without a race win just by being a consistent podium and top 5 driver. So we'll have to see. 5 minutes left in qualification. Snarling Bongo trying to get something going. Spunkmeyer in the other D'Amberville car, teammates to FLX. And as he told me, no practice time. It was a very, very late deal with the sponsors getting him into this car. So he has very little practice time in the car, in the Formula Renault. But he is going to be learning on the job, so to speak, and we'll look to see if he can, what he can do with that car. I think aiming for a top 5 finish I think he would be very happy with that. Green Gaiman, another Canadian driver coming from over regular on the American Tour. And he's coming over here to race in the Formula Renaults. As I said before, I think these are a great support car to higher open wheel series such as IndyCar and knock on wood someday Formula One. And this is a good chance to get the feel out, especially here on some of these international tracks that maybe a driver like Green Gaiman, who's more familiar with the American Tour, could use refreshers in. And right now he's just struggling to get a lap time down, but as we said, it'll be a fresh deck come the green light. Most of the guys in the pits, it looks like Mia back out in the D'Amberville car, number 15. Look back over the stats resume I had once again. Little one getting a bit upset with proceedings, waiting for some action, I suppose. But just glad to be with you here for another season of Flux competition. As I said, tonight Formula Renault, tomorrow 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The highly popular Flux Touring Car Championship will be opening up. We're going to have to see there if Linga Bazinga can defend his title from last season. Then on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UK, over on the American Tour at the Daytona International Speedway, we're going to have the opener for the Flux IndyCar Championship. That'll be followed up on the American Tour side on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern with the Flux American Sports Car Championship. Got the GTE class at 7 p.m. and the LMP2 class at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That would be midnight and 1:30 a.m. Eastern in the UK. Also some club races this week. Just later on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. in the UK, the GT3 Challenge Cup at Daytona will be running. And tomorrow night, the same time, Daytona Legend Showdown, which will feature the classic Indy Roadsters on the Daytona Oval. We recommend you check out the club races sign up on the Discord and get your names on the list, get your spots. But looking forward to just a spectacular race. I'm going to take a quick station break before we get down to race time. We got about a minute and a half till the end of qualifying. We'll give you your rundown. You're watching Flux TV. All right, we're going to give you your starting order here for the Flux Motorsport 2021 Season 3 Formula Renault Championship. On the pole will be Mia FLX Ralph in the D'Amberville car. Beautiful time of 1:21.186. The reigning champion Bruce Law will start in second. Luna Zodiac with a good lap time coming in third. Dirk Diggler will be starting in fourth. CDN Trooper will start fifth. Stoltz 44 will make it into sixth. Snarling Bongo in seventh. Smuckmeyer in eighth. And Green Gaming will be starting in ninth. All right, folks. So we are ready to go. Ready to go here at Zolder. It is dry as we suspected for the start of the race, but the forecast calls for showers to be popping in at some point. 9 cars here for the opening round. And you can feel the excitement building for another season of Flux Motorsport competition, the 5th championship season so far. Got Mia and FLX. We paired FLX on the outside. In the D'Amberville car, it's the Vazmac car that you'll see Bruce Law. As I said, the one season this series was contested back in the first season of Flux. He took 5 of 8 race wins on his way to the championship. Trexergy car for Luna Zodiac. Got the Bandai Namco car for Dirk Diggler. CDN is in the Fanatec sponsorship. Stoltz in the Renault Sport car. Snarling Bongo, D-Box, and the D'Amberville teammate to FLX is Spunkmeyer, Green Gaming, also in a factory Renault car. All right, we are ready to go here. Just waiting for the lights here at Zolder. And the Flux season is on. As they head down to the left-hander at turn 1, looks like a great jump for Bruce Law, and Bruce actually jumps into the lead. How many will he bring with him? FLX falls in behind. And just like that, Bruce Law has jumped out to the lead as they try to sort each other out. Let's do my favorite thing and get on the chase cam here at this point and see the head-to-head battle. CDN battling Snarling Bongo right there. Ooh, and Snarling Bongo lost it. Took a bump or a shunt. He is off to one side, CDN off to the left, and there is a big crash, huge crash here on the stretch right there. We have got a number of cars, Snarling Bongo, CDN, Green Gaming, Spunkmeyer, all involved. You saw that take place as they went too wide through the corner. Snarling Bongo there appeared to lose traction of the car, knocked CDN onto the grass, and then it all went out from there. Green Gaming and Spunkmeyer were innocent bystanders, but I would suspect we might see all 4 of these cars or any combination of them into the pits for repairs. Anyhow, let's get back to the battle. Up front, Bruce Law has put about 1.4 seconds now on Dirk Diggler. FLX has fallen back to 3rd. Now to 4th is he's in the pits. Uh-oh. Mia in the pits in the D'Amberville car. Obviously took a bump somewhere as well. And we've got 3-4 cars. I suspect it's going to be 5 or 6 cars here on the pit lane for damage here on the opening lap. So a monkey wrench right off the bat. With the possibility of weather coming, you know that this just threw this race wild. That was a wild 4-car crash. Whatever happened with FLX and Luna was separate from the big incident we were following back there. So they obviously got into it or had a pair of individual incidents as well. Meanwhile, it just puts Bruce Law all by his lonesome out front here on just the second lap. He's got Dirk Diggler not far behind, trying to keep pace. Then about 10 seconds back is where Stoltz has come through all of this. Looks like we have a marshal, already a 10-second penalty, probably a pit lane speed violation for FLX, so that's going to hurt the pole sitter right off the bat. Damage on the first lap and a 10-second penalty, likely a pit lane speeding violation. And that puts FLX behind the 8-ball early on. Spunkmeyer still back in the pits. He's got extensive repairs to get done. But it is a long race, as he said. With the weather coming, any one of those guys up front could have a similar issue, and all that time will come right back to them. Meanwhile, Bruce Law just a little faster at this point than Dirk Diggler. You also have to keep in mind that the tire burn off here, these cars are going to change drastically. Any type of open wheel Formula car, you're going to see the balance of the car change a lot, not just because they're tough on the tires with the amount of G-forces, but also the weight of the fuel. You're talking about a 200 pounds of fuel in the back of one of these. That's 200 pounds on 1,300 pounds, whatever it is. I know like for an Indy car is about 1,700 pounds. You got 220 pounds of fuel. That's about the same amount of fuel that is in, you know, a 3,500 pound NASCAR. So the burn off, you know, 200 pounds off the middle and the back of the car is definitely a big change. And it looks like somebody else is off again. Looks like it might have been, I thought it looked like Dirk, might have just been my eyes playing tricks on me. Snarling Bongo now into the pits in the D-Box number 10. We just have these guys struggling with their cars here in the opening round. So it really looks like it's going to be a war of attrition and a battle just to get as many points as you can heading into the next round, which will be at Hockenheim in Germany. Bruce Law pacing his way around. He's stretching that lead on Dirk Diggler here in the early going. Just one of those situations, I have to say there, from what I saw, once again shows you the, you know, track position and how important qualifying is. That was a very simple incident. Two cars going side by side through the corner. It looked very much to me like Snarling Bongo hit a bump or had some type of aerodynamic disruption, because that front end just kicked to the left all of a sudden. Put CDN in the grass. Obviously, Snarling probably hit the inside wall, came back across the track, and the other two cars plowed in, unable to avoid it. But just a chain reaction wreck that would have involved 7, 8, 9 cars, you know, had it been a larger field. You'll have those that'll make the argument that first lap, that many cars should be a red flag situation, but you take what you can get. This is racing, and the racing gods weren't smiling on those drivers today. So we see right there, coming out with brand new tires, probably a little bit of an adjustment. FLX now a 1:19.7 on that last lap, and going to be trying desperately to make up time on the field in front. As we said, you're going to see guys make pit stops. You're going to see guys make stops. You're going to see guys have their own problems. I was talking to a couple of the drivers in the pre-race, and myself spoke about the off-season exhibition for the Indy cars at Sonoma. I was off the pace in qualifying, really didn't have a super fast car, but I had it set up to go, you know, a long run, and when everybody had trouble, I was lucky enough to come out winning the race, even though I myself made an extra pit stop to fix a little damaged wing. So a lot can go on here, and I know that FLX here is definitely a championship contender, and just needs to grind down as many points, grind out as many points as possible. It looks like that might have been Green Gaiman getting out of the way of the faster car. He might be coming around because of damage here, but still very early. 37 minutes to go, just working lap 6. Looks like at this rate you're going to see somewhere around 40 laps, give or take. Let's give a little of the shuffling cameras just to give us some varying views. Let's take a look at Stoltz, 44. Says his flag says South Africa. I don't know if that's accurate, but it's great to have a South African driver competing regularly here in this series. Stoltz avoiding all that trouble, qualified towards the middle, I believe in 6th if I'm not mistaken, but managed to avoid the trouble and now running up into third place and coming through the first turn. Last lap in a 123 range. You can see Bruce and Dirk hitting the 121, 122 range at the moment. So he's just trying to maintain pace. Meanwhile, following pit stops, it still remains FLX, who has taken nearly 10 seconds. It was close to 40, so close to 10 seconds off that lead since making the pit stop. So these tires go rapidly, especially if you're aggressive with the setup. Green Gaiman's a corporate teammate there as Stoltz goes by him. But just trying to hang in there as it becomes a time race. These are what I like to call rubber band races, where it looks like the race is really spread out, and then in the last few minutes, you know, everything changes. And right there, Stoltz losing it a bit in the chicane. Excuse me, coming onto the front stretch. Might be feeling the tire wear at this point. .123.37 last time in the Rexergy car for Luna Zodiac. Got caught up with FLX in a separate incident from the big one on that first lap. But the time's coming down and looking to chop it in. As we said, those of you looking fourth through, and we have a withdrawal here. Somebody has DNF'd this race. I'll try to get word on who that is. I believe that was Snarling Bongo. That is unfortunate. It appears as though we have lost Snarling Bongo, and he will not score points here today. I would have definitely thought that he's still a championship contender, but he's going to have to start climbing out of a hole here from round one, no doubt. So an unfortunate turn of events sees Snarling Bongo out of the race. Try to get a word from the garage area as to what put him out. Excuse me. But now we're down to 8 cars and still 33 minutes to go, so a lot of time here. But as I said, I call them rubber band races. They'll come back towards the end. You get guys on different pit cycles and whatnot, changing track conditions. As we said, we are expecting to see the rain at some point here during the race, and that is going to change everything. As Green Gaming back on the pit lane, getting his car repaired. Bruce Law, meanwhile, has stretched that lead out to 12 seconds over Dirk Diggler, as he's steadily lapping in the 121 range. I spoke of it earlier, the previous season of Flux Formula Renault competition back in season 1, the first season. So it's been a little while since Flux has sanctioned these cars for a championship, but when we did, Bruce Law 5 wins out of 8 races and the title, and he's looking very good at this point for his 6th career victory in the Flux Formula Renault Championship. But right now, he's getting quicker, obviously has that car dialed in down into the 120.1 range. And I'm seeing lap times pop up for some of these guys right here, Stoltz and Dirk, and it makes me wonder if they may not have had some kind of problem. We take a look here at Dirk Diggler in the Bandai Namco car. Came through the early lap carnage. Looks like the car is still in one piece. We'll see if his last lap was an aberration when he makes his way back around, and if he can stay competitive here. You never know when someone might see some overheating, tire issues, take a spin, lose a wing, or just plain disco, which we like to call blowing the motor. You lose the motor like that, you're going to see someone right back in it. Right now, Dirk looking to solidify that podium spot and see if he can possibly move up. Meanwhile, we're going to have a battle for position here very, very soon, as FLX has come back from that pit stop for damage and is tearing up through the field and is now on the tail of Stoltz in third place, who has been steadily falling back. Starting to see the tire degradation and the drop off there. Put the DRS on right here, both of them, you know, flat out through there. FLX trying to set up the pass, going into turn one, making the move. Stoltz goes wide and FLX makes the pass. Has better tires at this point after that early stop. And Stoltz tried to make a fight of it, but probably just realized wasn't going to help at this point. And so FLX all the way back up into third. So trying to keep this race competitive. CDN Trooper on the pit lane. I'm wondering if that's a damage repair. Obviously, no reason for a change to wet tires yet, though we suspect rain in the forecast. He might just be putting a fresh set of rubber on, might just have some damage that we are not seeing. As we pass the 15-minute mark, 30 minutes remaining here at Zolder in Belgium, opening round of the Flux Motorsport 2021 Season 3 Formula Renault Championship. Mind you, again, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UK, a special event, the club race. The GT3 Challenge Cup will be at Daytona. But CDN in the pits. The length of this pit stop looks to tell me that is a damage repair. So he is obviously several laps down at this point. Let's see if we can look at the timings and see. Bruce Law got 4 cars still on the lead lap, as it shows right now, although I'm sure Luna is on the lead lap. So 5 cars on the lead lap at this point, 3 of them looking to be several laps down. CDN Trooper right there, already 3 laps down. So he got caught up in that early wreck, which was of no fault of his own, and is now just in salvage mode. Going to try to see if he can move up, pick up any positions anybody else has any trouble, and just, you know, even if you're at dead back of the field, first round of the championship, there's no better test time than race conditions. Get out there and run the car and check out your tire wear, check out how the car ages, figure out what you need to do to it. I need more on the back end, less on the front end. I mean that both in terms of literally with the car and in terms of your run. Do I need more speed? Do I need more longevity? Lap for lap, it continues to be FLX and Bruce Law, but Bruce Law out in front. He doesn't have any problems. He's a pit stop ahead of all those who pitted for damage, so it may be his race to lose. But FLX is laughing with him on newer tires, maintaining an advantage, and has taken about 12 seconds or so off of the lead when she went into the pits. So we'll see, you know, what this is going to be like. See what kind of race it turns out to be. Those two definitely still in it, as is Dirk. Just looking forward to such a season. I myself back into competition. Guys were asking me testing this week how I felt about that, and I said it's a high level of competition in Flux, and I have not run as a regular driver in about 2 calendar years. Responsibilities in the booth and at home and whatnot have really kept me out of the car, so I told the guys, don't expect much. I know in IndyCar I expect to be competitive on the ovals right away. Know my way around that. Got to get used to running the cars a little bit, and that is going to be a full deck IndyCar championship this season as Taijo tries to defend his title. Cat Guy tries to come back and reclaim another one. And I'm just going to try to take that Verizon Chevy, try to be respectful, stay in the top 10. So looking forward to that. Meanwhile, looks like FLX now moving in. I get into the cockpit with Mia in the D'Amberville car, moving in on Dirk Diggler. What a drive, just keeps chopping off time. And now the number of laps out that other guys have had trouble with the car, it's obvious that she's got this thing dialed in. And whatever happened in the beginning there that caused the pit stop, he's recovering strong, coming down the front stretch, heading to the, I believe I said it was the Jackie Ix. Yep, Jackie Ix chicane and onto the front stretch, but just steadily reeling in Dirk Diggler. Meanwhile, coming into the pit lane, Luna Zodiac from 5th place. Might be a scheduled pit stop for tires. He just turned a 121 on his last hot lap, so Luna looking very sharp here in these cars as well. He was on the top of the time chart during one of the practice sessions this week, so I expected to see him contend for the win and the podium. Let's see if it's a quick pit stop or if there is some damage repair. Once you get much past about 10 seconds in a Formula car, you have to assume there's some damage being repaired, and that's what I would suspect right now for Luna. Something's being fixed in that car. Meanwhile, back on board, we have got the battle. Ooh, and around goes Dirk Diggler, and there is contact between Dirk and Mia. We caught just the end of that. I don't believe, it didn't look to me like there was contact from the rear by FLX to knock Dirk around. It looks like Dirk just lost it in the chicane in front of FLX, but you never know, and you have to wonder, is there damage on these cars now? So FLX has shot all the way back from that early pit stop for damage all the way back up to second. I'd have to ask the drivers there. It didn't look to me like FLX got into the back of Dirk, but Dirk may have just lost it going through the chicane. Either way, there was contact. I don't see any wings missing or anything like that, but it's not hard to damage the wing, damage the suspension a little bit, and add 10-15 seconds to your stop. So we'll have to see if FLX can maintain the laps, now pulling away from Dirk a bit. Dirk, FLX took the shot on the nose, and with a 10, and you got to remember, FLX also working with that 10-second penalty, which is could be protested, but as it's likely a pit road speeding penalty, I do not think that there's much that can be done about it. We'll have to wait and see. So just trying to drive back up, and is now all the way back up in second. We are just about to see the crossed flags for halfway here in the Flux Formula Renault round 1 at Zolder. Dirk and Bruce, the only two I believe, Dirk, Bruce, and maybe Stoltz have not been in the pits yet. I'm not sure about Stoltz. Doesn't tell me in the timings whether they have pitted during the race. Talking about Spunkmeyer coming in late, not really knowing what he had. He's grinded it out, and out of 9 starters, he's moved it up into the top 5 here. He had to pit for damage earlier on and is quite a few laps down, currently 2 laps down, but maintaining his place in the race right there. And seeing if maybe he can move up a little more. I mean, it's a good start to the season. It would be a decent points day if he could get 5th after the early trouble. And just hope to start building on that. As I said, it's a long season, 8 rounds. You never know what's going to happen for guys mechanically. So, showing a good accounting of himself so far. Meanwhile, the duel up front is not a duel yet. The 27 car Bruce Law started on the outside front row in second, has come straight through from the start, took the lead in the first corner and has led the whole way, now working lap 18. Does not appear to have any damage on that car. And continues to burn fuel off and lap in the 120s. That's the amazing thing, and that's where you know that you've got a good engineer there under the car. Bruce consistently gets faster over the run while other guys experience tire drop-off. That is a sign of not only knowing how to drive the car and taking care of it, but also having a good setup that does not overtax the tires and suspension. And he and FLX have both shown the ability so far to do that. And that is what has them out in the lead of this race. Right there, another 120, 120.7. As I said, Bruce's resume here in Flux is big. 4 class championships in the sports cars, 27 career sports car victories, plus the 5 here in Formula Renault. He's also won 3 Flux IndyCar races over on the American Tour. Winningest driver in the Flux record books at this point. We got somebody diving down into the pits here. I thought I saw somebody heading into the pits. Make a check in here in 4th place with Stoltz, who is now, I believe, a lap down. May just be off the cycle. Might be barely on the lead lap. Let's check his relative track position there with the arrow on the right-hand side to Bruce. Yeah, he's just off the lead lap. Bruce recently went by him. So Stoltz struggling with that car. Had some quickness early on. And right now, just trying to hang on. He stayed out of trouble. I think he's trying to stretch the tires. I don't believe he's been into the pits. I could be wrong on that, but I don't believe so. We're inside 20 minutes and still have not seen the forecasted showers. So that becomes the big question. When that rain, if and when that rain starts coming, who makes the right decision? I mean, if you pit at the exact right time and gain a lap or 2 before the other guy realizes he has to, I mean, that could easily be 5, 10, 15 seconds. 20 seconds if the guy loops it trying to get back to the pit. So maybe Stoltz has the right strategy here for getting back up onto the podium. We will have to wait and see. Bonus for the pole went to FLX. And right now the best lap belongs 118.7 for FLX. So that would be a couple of bonus points right there. As that 15 car just keeps on trying. Made that early pit stop. First lap damage has come out and basically matched Bruce Law lap for lap. But just trying to work back from that disadvantage. And did I just see moisture on the screen? I believe I just saw a drop of rain, and there it comes, folks. Starting to see showers on the circuit here at Zolder. And there it is, folks, the rain that we talked about. Who is going to make that decision first that I need to get rain tires on this thing? Got a battle for position brewing back in 5th. Luna and Spunkmeyer only 4 seconds apart for that top 5 spot. Luna, in fact, might have passed Spunkmeyer recently while we were looking at the front of the field. Mia coming up on those 2 cars, I believe. No, it's Spunkmeyer coming up on those 2 cars. And I believe we have a car in the pit lane. Yes, we do. We have got Dirk Diggler hitting the pit lane and Spunkmeyer hitting the pit lane. I am going to make a $1 million bet that they are putting on rain tires and they will be the first. We'll see what the other ones do around 15, 16 minutes. You got, done 21 laps in 28 minutes. That puts us at about 10, 11 laps to go, maybe 12, somewhere in that range. So the rain starts coming down here in Zolder. Dirk Diggler pitted from third in the Bandai Namco car. And as he heads out of the pits, we'll see how that cycles back around. Up front, meanwhile, lap for lap, they keep matching each other, but Bruce has that advantage. However, the lead is down to 24 seconds now to FLX. I think Bruce has had to work his way through some traffic in the Vazmac 27 car. He does right there, gets by CDN Trooper. And you got to believe he may be coming around here. I'd be surprised if I don't see him fly into the pit lane right here. Yes, he does. Right there, he goes into the pits. I believe CDN, it looks like he might have been right behind him. Nope, CDN might have stayed out. And so Bruce Law from the lead can't do it any better than that. He's been out since the beginning, hasn't pitted, waited for the rain, managed the tires, waited. I'm sure he was tapping his watch in that cockpit. When is it coming? When is it coming? And then sure enough, times it perfectly, gets in there, manages the tires, and gets it going. All right, FLX right behind him. Stoltz is also hitting the pit lane. CDN, as I said, is in the pit lane. And so with 15 minutes to go, this is it. Let's see how it comes out. Bruce is coming out right now, right as FLX pulls in. So Bruce with a clear advantage at this point if he keeps that car underneath him. He is back out up to speed. FLX is back out and up to speed, and judging from Zolder today, it may be an old Senna Prost type of thing between these two going all season, but we have a long season, wide variety of tracks. And remind you all to check us out at fluxmotorsport.com. You can join us, go to fluxmotorsport.com, hit the Discord. Join us on Discord. You can find signups for all our championships. Get yourself an evaluation drive so you can be a competitor for all our championships, club races, special events. We also have Flux merch for sale on the website, t-shirts and hats and more at fluxmotorsport.com, your home for sim racing. All right, so the rain's out here, 13 minutes to go. Working lap 24. Bruce has 23 seconds on FLX. That's on the track. FLX also a 10-second penalty on that early stop. May have been speeding in the pit lane. I don't know if that's something that is going to be able to be protested and removed. If it will even affect finishing position and will be a bother, but it really puts FLX well behind the 8 ball, and Bruce basically just has to cruise from here on out. Did 30 minutes on that first stint, kept the tires under him, didn't panic when you saw a fast car like FLX moving, chopping away that lead through the field. Just stayed nice and steady, said I got to keep the tires under me until I have to pit for rain tires, and it has worked out. He's looking to get his 6th career Flux Formula Renault victory here today if he keeps that car under him. We'll see if any battles will come out here. Matter of fact, as Bruce gets ready to hit down the front stretch, let's get into the cockpit with Bruce Law and have him take us around Zolder here in the rain. just very smooth, not real aggressive. Guys think that the really fast drivers are hyper aggressive, and it's not a hyper aggressive line he's taking. He's being very steady with the throttle. You hear him off the throttle right there, downshifting, waiting until that car bites. Just smooth. You're leaving a little bit of speed on the table, but you're not giving anything away. This is a classic race line right there, perfect through that chicane. That is a tough spot. I know in practice I took a few laps with it. Might have had a competitive time if it wasn't for those chicanes. And he is just crystal smooth through these chicanes. Right there, ooh, and he goes off right there through the last chicane. But as you see, does not panic, does not hit the wall, does not hit anything with the wing. He just gets off the throttle, gets back on the track, eases into it, gets the grit and grime off the tire. Going to be very conservative here through this turn just to make sure that he's got all that mud and dirt off the tire. But that's the sign of a race champion right there. Guy who drives in that way manages to avoid any such trouble. Have my 6-year-old walking in here in a minute, and I might have to mute the mic at that point with the background noise, so if I lose you guys, bear with us. Technical difficulties on the Flux TV network, but as you see right there, just smooth, and that's how Bruce Law gets it done, maintaining that same gap on FLX, who we're really glad to see back in competition. Favorite of our viewers on Flux TV and a number of championships in the past. You said you look at the lap times she's putting up, you take out the first lap incident that caused the pit stop, and this is definitely a very competitive race between FLX and Bruce Law. As it is, FLX can, at the moment, takes the pole bonus, will likely hang on to the fastest lap now with the rain, almost certainly will. That will chop the 5 points Bruce would have gained down to 3. So this championship's going to stay tight here after round 1. As we said, next week, round 2 will be at Hockenheim in Germany. And I'm sure FLX will be practice geared up and ready to go there to make up ground. Impressive run so far. 3rd place for Dirk Diggler in the Bandai Namco car. That little bang up may have cost a bit of time making some repairs on pit lane, but still hanging in there, I believe. Let me take a look at track position here. Still on the lead lap, just ahead. Bruce Law coming up behind, just ahead. But Dirk looking to get a podium finish here, which would be a solid position here in a race with these kind of conditions. Dirk seemed to come through the worst of the trouble, has really just had a steady ride. We'll see if he can start putting up some more competitive times here in the wet, but probably just feeling it out after making the tire change. But 3rd place, can't complain about that. Keeps you in the championship, puts you in a position to where you can move up, and Dirk has had a good drive and is going to earn a good position should he hang on. Stoltz in the Renault Sport factory car, similar situation, has not been quite up of the pace of the leaders, but has been steady, has been steadily there in around 4th place for most of the race, and at this point has a large lead, quite a large lead on Luna. Does not need to worry too much about it. I would say if there's any problem with the car, any little bang up, any tire problem, got time to dive in, make a brief repair or put new tires on it and maintain position. Just going to try to bring it home and pick up those 4th place points, but a good start to the season in what has turned out to be tough conditions. Beautiful conditions at the start, but now with the rain coming down, the guys are having to adjust to it. And thus far, we have not seen anybody bang it up too bad. Luna Zodiac running in 5th, obviously damage repair, 3 laps off the leader. Maybe that's 2 as they're cycling past the start finish line. But probably a little disappointed. Going to try to hang on to get a top 5, but Luna was very quick in practice all week in that Rexergy car, the number 19. Going to be looking, I believe Luna is a championship contender. Going to look to rebound at Hockenheim, but top 5's not terrible. It's enough points to keep you in it. And right now he's just trying to hang on. And I'm looking at the clock, and that was about a 13, 14 second drop for Bruce Law. Did I miss Bruce Law banging the car up? I do not see a wing or anything missing. But suddenly, you go through the field thinking that you can get a view on everybody, and then that's when Bruce decides to do something. I'm going to guess with no visible damage that it was just a simple loop. Let's hope he doesn't have any severe damage, but you can see right there FLX is now in the shot, 3.5 seconds back. Now that 10-second penalty on the pit lane that FLX picked up makes it a moot point if that penalty stands. But as we leave the track, the unofficial winner will be whoever the board puts in front. So Bruce still has a 13-second gap, but what you don't want to have happen is that 10-second penalty gets taken off. If FLX passes him, ends up 3 or 4 seconds in front, and that penalty gets protested and overturned somehow, then there goes the race win. So whatever happened on that last lap has definitely changed the complexion of this race. And right there, somebody went around. Mia went as well. We've got 2 cars around. FLX is around. Let's get back on the chase right there, trying to get it going. So these, you can make the argument, might have been avoiding the sympathy spin, avoiding the incident in front. But right there, FLX got back within just a few seconds of Bruce. Keeping in mind that of the penalty and weighing over, but right there goes around here in the wet. So things changing rapidly here at Zolder. So Mia going to try to get back around here. But things definitely swinging wildly as we are into the final 4 minutes, as it looks like. Was that Green Gaiman who just peeled off? Yeah, it is. FLX comes through that. CDN Troopers also in that battle. Spunkmeyer, fortunately, is falling back to 7th place now as he hits the pits, probably for a repair. And it looks like, yes, I can see wing missing on the right front. So he's going to come in, fix that, come out, and finish up his run. But wow, Bruce goes around, gives up a bunch of time. Then FLX goes around. It's just been, as we said, we're going to see lots of things taking place here at Zolder today in the Formula Renault opener. And certainly has been. But with 3 minutes to go, Bruce just trying to hang on now. He's probably got that heart rate up. He goes around the lap traffic of Luna Zodiac. Should I pick up running them down? There's not far off CDN Trooper back in 6th, pretty much locked into that position as long as he keeps it together. A lot of these guys will be asking what if. It's going to be one of those type of days, a what if kind of day, as he lets FLX through, who is still chopping down time, or trying to see what this next lap does. But I believe it's a little too late now, not even within range to where that 10-second penalty will make any sort of difference. But the bonus points will come in handy. And as always, real quick before we cycle to the victory cameras, you got to give credit to guys like Green Gaiman here in 8th. We lost Snarling Bongo, who was the 9th car in the field. Green Gaiman, Spunkmeyer, these guys all going to try to just pick up the points they can and get ready to move on to Hockenheim or to wherever else they're racing this week. Going to be hopping over to Brands Hatches. There goes FLX. No, that's not FLX. That's Spunkmeyer. Having trouble there at the back. But meanwhile, it is the Bruce Law show. Out in front, taking it careful, just looking to tiptoe it around and lock up the win, as we said. Get the early start in the 5th season of Flux, the 2021 Season 3 Flux Formula Renault Championship. Looking very solid here today, just as we said, a masterful drive. The strategy was perfect. This race would be nose-to-nose with FLX if it wasn't for him playing that out. I mean, some guys, I think, got partway into the run, didn't see the rain coming, and said, I need new tires, and it probably was an extra pit stop. Probably have 2 or 3, 4 cars that did that. And Bruce just didn't panic. He saw FLX closing, but did not panic and just kept driving his race, and obviously paying off here. At Zolder, as we said, Bruce, according to the record books, the most accomplished driver. 4 class championships in the Flux Sports Car Championships. He's won a Formula Renault title. He's won 3 races over in the IndyCar Championship on the American Tour. And it looks like he's going to start off the 5th season of Flux competition in the right way. I'll remind you as we run down towards what is likely the white flag, and this will be the final lap. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UK, a Flux Club race, the GT3 Challenge Cup at Daytona. And then tomorrow, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, the opening round of the Flux Touring Car Championship. I believe I might be back in the booth here tomorrow for that. If so, I look forward to seeing you. Indy cars on Friday, the American Sports Car Championship Saturday, and of course I cannot forget Mark C setting up and hosting on Sunday, 8 p.m. Australian time. You'll have to check your, as you see Bruce Law cross the line and take home the win. You have to check your time conversion, but we've got the brand new Flux V8 Supercar Championship. But back here at Zolder, Bruce Law, masterful run, takes it home in first place. FLX Ralph, got to give all the credit in the world for this drive. That early trouble, got back on the car, brings it home in second place despite all the problems. Dirk Diggler going to drive it home here in third. We don't have any real battle for positions unless Dirk loses a ton of time and gets Stoltz back into it. No, he's going to take home in third place as the guys basically cross the line. But your man today is right there. That is Bruce Law, picks up his 6th career Flux Formula Renault Championship victory and takes the early lead here in round 1 with a masterful drive. All right, your final results for the Flux Motorsport 2021 Season 3 Formula Renault Championship Round 1 at Zolder. Bruce Law, coming from the 2nd starting spot, picks up the win. A fantastic drive. 6th career victory in the Formula Renault Championship. FLX Ralph with a brilliant drive from the first lap. Schmozzle, as David Hobbs would call it. Got repaired, got back into the car, and drove it back onto the lead lap, finishing in 2nd. Dirk Diggler will round up our podium in the Bandai Namco car. A terrific run for him. Going to get a good points day out of that. We've got Stoltz 44 drives it home in 4th. Luna Zodiac brings it home in 5th place to round out our top 5. We've got the field rounded out by CDN Trooper in 6th, Spunkmeyer in 7th, Green Gaiman managed it in 8th, Snarling Bongo retired into 9th. All right, folks, it's been a pleasure bringing the race to you here today from Zolder. We will be with you tomorrow on Flux TV for the Flux Touring Car Championship from the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. For Flux TV, all our drivers, this is Carlin Hicks. Congratulations to Bruce Law, your Formula Renault winner at Zolder, and we will see you next time on Flux TV.